Games is next. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Sam Farber with you here in Wisconsin. And Chase, it's simple. How heavy can you go in event number 5?
We got 3 heats of this. We have a 1-rep max snatch attempt. Each athlete will get 1 lift, 2 attempts, 20 seconds per. Your top 10 lists will move on to an additional round of 2 attempts. The heaviest lift in the first or second round will win.
So a little bit more to the rules, and for those, we go to Sam Farber.
Yeah, guys, each athlete has 20 seconds to complete a rep, but that 20 seconds, they can try it as many times as they would like. Now, one thing that's very important here, athletes are allowed to finish a rep even if it doesn't happen within the 20 seconds. So if you get the weight off the ground at, say, 19 seconds, you can finish that lift. That means for our extremely talented camera and production crew, they might have to watch 2 athletes at the exact same time.
And we will do our best to keep everybody updated on what is happening in this event. Here in the first heat, we'll have 12 athletes on the floor completing this event. There's a couple of notable lifters in this. Tim Paulson in platform number 2 has a 300-pound lift. Garrett Fisher is in the 300-pound club as well, but the person that everybody's eyes are going to be on in this one is on platform 4, and that's Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah comes in with the heaviest listed snatch in this event at 310 pounds. Now, when we're talking about the 10 lists moving up, I'm trying to guess is that you're going to have to see something north of 275 if you want to advance into the final 10 slots.
1, lift.
First person to make a lift here in this event will be Michael Palumba, Games rookie out of the East Regional. This is 250 pounds, and it is a successful lift at 250.
And I think this first round you'll see some more conservative approaches. They've been able to sit in the warm-up area and get their lifts in. And you want to try to find something comfortable, yet not too comfortable, because you only have 2 attempts. And what you don't want to do is to create a bigger jump than you need from rep 1 to rep 2. So you're going to have to start really close to your 1-rep max, probably closer about 90–95% of your max.
A moment ago saw Tim Paulson good at 262. This 255 for Mitchell Cinnamon, and also successful. So we got a 3-for-3 start for our lifters here in heat number 1. And next up, the man that's got all the attention on him in this heat, Elijah Muhammad. He's got a 277 attempt coming up.
He had to earn it because he had to do a run, swim, run, and a bike event just to get to what he does best.
That is why the attention's on him. That was beautiful.
And he'd open up 277, and like I said, is like that's the upper range where I think your top 10 guys will have to at least hit, maybe closer to 285. If I'm just looking on paper, 290 is your 10th best lift coming in to this event.
Garrett Fisher had to walk it a little bit, but good at 267 pounds.
Garrett Fisher has a listed 1-rep max of 300 pounds, one of 8 athletes in the field that is a 300-pound or more max lift.
And this is a big number for Zeke Grove. His heaviest recorded PR is 276. This is an attempt at 265, and good at 265. So our first 6 attempts are all good.
And that's that 90–95%. You know, he's about within 10 to 12 pounds of his max lift. That's roughly around 95%.
Crowd getting behind Josh Bridges. This at 242. And we're 7 for 7 here in the opening wave of heat number 1.
That's a good lift for Josh. It was smooth. It was a nice opening. His listed max is 265, which he did twice at the California Regional a year ago.
Zach Carcetti, his attempt at 245 pounds, trying to keep the hot streak alive in our opening round. And we're 8 for 8 here in round number 1. And we go from 245 to the second heaviest attempt thus far. 275 pounds on the bar for Games rookie Tommy Venus. With a smile and a stare to the crowd, he had that one easy.
Oh, his max listed 1-rep max is 300 pounds, and he has that little early arm bend. We see Rich Froning actually does that a lot, where the idea behind it is to just pull it towards the hip a little bit to help get it overhead.
Alex Smith with a smile as well, as he's good at 265 pounds, and we're at a perfect 10 for 10 thus far here in the opening round.
Well, we got a lot of heavy hitters in this heat, and it's kind of naturally to see is after 4 or 5 events that involved endurance and some skill, you're probably going to see your strongest guys sitting there in the bottom part of the leaderboard.
And the first miss of the opening round is for Holden Rethwill at 245 pounds. Remember, 20 seconds. He's got another shot here.
Now that's a very heavy opening weight for Rethwill because his max listed snatch is 255.
Travis Williams, good at 275, and nice patience in the bottom of that one.
Well, you know what? I bet the only person that was relieved more was the weight score tab that didn't have to get kicked this year because he got a successful first attempt.
And because we do have 2 open platforms, we're going to have a 40-second downtime here as we keep everything consistent. So Michael Palamba is going to have a quiet arena here for a little bit before he starts on round number 2. And after the opening round, no surprise, Elijah Muhammad leading the way here in this heat at 277 pounds. 275 was good for Venus and Williams, so they're 2 pounds back. Next heaviest, Garrett Fisher at 267. Zeke Grove and Alex Smith were good at 265 to round out the top 5.
Now the first round, I said something conservative, yet something that can get you on the board, because what you don't want to do is take a big jump between your first and second lift. This is the last attempt they're going to have.
That's a 16-pound increase for Palomba. Went from 250. He was good there. He's good at 266 as well. Tim Paulson making a 15-pound jump from 262. This will be an attempt at 277 pounds. To tie him for the lead with Elijah Muhammad. I think he made that one look a little bit harder than it really was for him. But he is good at 277. That puts him tied for the provisional lead. 276 the attempt, a 21-pound jump for Mitchell Cinnamon on platform number 3. And successful for Cinnamon at 276 to move him into 3rd place. 15-pound jump to 292 for Easy Muhammad. Money. Just put a bar in his hands and he will go all day. Elijah Muhammad, 292, and the crowd is loving it.
Very good second lift for Elijah Muhammad. This is the second of 4 lifts. He knows he's going to move forward with a solid one. 292 is going to be a good one to move up from if in the second wave.
282 is also going to be a pretty solid weight. That one good for Garrett Fisher. Next up, an 11-pound jump. This will be tying a listed PR for Zeke Grove, 276 pounds. It would be putting him in a tie for 4th at this point. Ooh, and he tried to stay on the platform, unable to save the weight in the process. 5 seconds remaining. He's got to get that bar off the ground. Does just in time. His second shot no good as he loses it behind him. Josh Bridges, 253, not successful. He's still got time, about 10 seconds remaining. Crowd tried to help him out, unable to do so. He'll still be good at 242 his opening round. 245 was the first round for Carcetti, 270 the second round for Carcetti, and good on the 25-pound jump with the bar slam for a little emphasis. Tommy Venus, this will be for the lead. 295 on the bar for the rookie.
Love that attitude, and that's what you need when it comes to this. This is a big measuring contest on the floor right now. I want to see these guys get into the final 10.
Alex Smith misses his first shot at 280 pounds. He still has time, 10 seconds remaining on the clock. He just has to get it off the ground before the 20-second period expires. He does, and what a save on attempt number 2 for Alex Smith. This is huge for Holden Rethwell. He did not record a lift in the opening round. Again at 246, unable to save it as he was unstable at the top. 5 seconds remain. He's got one more shot. That was huge for Rethwell. Travis Williams unable to save it. This at 293 pounds. And he will revert back to his 275 scores. That closes out our opening heat. And the leader, we said all eyes on Elijah Muhammad, but Tommy Venus demanded all eyes on him in that heat. 295, your top lift in heat number 1. And Chase, I think you're a fan of somebody here in this opening heat now.
Oh man, I love it. I love some attitude out there. You know, don't just clap for yourself. Celebrate your performance when you can, because your name doesn't get called often, especially at the CrossFit Games. And 295, that is a great start for this first round. I cannot wait to see what these guys start doing when you get into the last 2 lists, if they qualify into the top 10.
So Tommy Venus, the game's rookie out of Arizona, putting on a show and stealing the spotlight away from Elijah Muhammad, who is game as well.
That's just smooth lifting. I've seen this guy touch and go over 300 pounds prior to that. What Venus has is he has raw power and some attitude to begin with.
Tommy, a lift of 295 pounds. When did you decide you were going to go within 5 pounds of your personal 1-rep max?
We're at the games, there's no other way. Yeah, that's how it is. You just got to go for it sometimes.
What is it like as a 20-year-old, the youngest athlete in these CrossFit Games, to go out there against the best in the world and put up that kind of weight?
I don't know. It's fun. It's nerve-wracking.
Well, I'm pretty confident you're going to have a couple more lifts. Your personal best 300, what are you aiming for next round?
We're going 3 blues. They know what that means.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I want to see those 3 blues go up as Tommy Venus calling his shot. He's going to have to wait a little bit because we've got heat number 2 coming up next. We're going to clean up the platforms, bring out the next wave of athletes, and the weights are going to go up once again in just a moment. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say I love this event. After heat 1 of 3, it's time for heat 2 of 3 in the opening round of men's event number 5, the 1-rep max snatch at the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Sam Farber with you here in Madison, Wisconsin. We've seen 1 round already take on this 1-rep max test. Time for heat number 2.
Athletes are going to get 20 seconds per lift, 2 lifts total in the first round. So very few attempts and not a lot of time. Your top 10 will advance. We've already seen 7 guys with 275 or more. I'm going to change my scale and say you might have to hit something north of 280 to make it into the top 10.
So those are the basic rules. Let's get a little bit more of an in-depth look with Sam Farber.
Well, before the competition today, head judge Adrian Bosman went over the rules with the athletes. Yes, 20 seconds to complete a lift, but they can start the attempt at any point within that 20 seconds, and if it goes over, that's okay. So if they pick it up right off the ground, can't get it going, they can wait 10 seconds, wait till 18, 19 seconds deep in the clock, and begin again and finish after the timer has gone off. That means for our very talented production crew and camera crew, they're going to have to be watching two athletes at the same time potentially during this competition.
Thank you, Sam. And we'll be watching 13 athletes here in heat number 2. And you know what? We can just put it real simple. There's two guys you're definitely going to be keeping an eye on. In lane number 6, Ben Smith, and in lane number 9, Scott Panchik.
Well, you're talking about two guys that have a listed snatch of 305 and 310. And after Easy Muhammad and Venus went 290 plus, I'd like to see what these guys bring to the table.
Our opening lift here in heat number 2 will be 225 pounds for Jeff Patzer, Games rookie out of the California Regional. And we're having a little technical issue on the floor, so we'll take a moment here and get everything sorted out before we get going again.
I figured there's no better time than for a slow clap at that moment.
So what are you thinking right now if you're Jeff Patzer? You're ready to go, and then they say, okay, hang on a second. We'll tell you when to go now.
Well, first off, I'm thinking, crap, I'm starting with 225, and I just watched 8 guys lift over 265, but that's the way it goes. The big dogs are having their event right now. We've had the endurance guys get there, some of our gymnastics guys in Amanda 45, even some more of your athletic guys in the O course. So with our heavy hitters, you know, that's why this is a total test of fitness. You got to test it all across the board. Some guys will shine, some will not, and it's going to change throughout the weekend.
So 225 was good for Patzer, 245 was good for Rob Forte. Next up, another one of the rookies in the field, Paul Castillo, the Central Regional Champion at 255.
It's a good save by Castillo. A lot of times you'll see athletes when they get in a rush or they get a little too amped, they'll stand up a little bit too soon. Castillo almost did that, not being able to lock it out securely before standing. Ended up saving it in the end.
Next up, Jason Carroll, another Games rookie. He from the California Regional, 227, and that looked really easy for him.
It's a good opening lift. Carroll is definitely not going to win this. He's not going to be in the top 10, listed at 252, so one of the lowest ones in the field, but sometimes there's always about getting a confident boost in the first round.
Lucas Esslinger with a little scream before getting onto the bar on that one, and he's good at 262. It will give him the lead, but next up on the platform, you hear the crowd coming alive for the 2015 champion, Ben Smith. 277. That's what we call all-day weight. So Smith good at 277. 267 for Travis Mayer. Only 13 pounds off his listed PR.
Rushed the middle part just a little bit, kind of got stuck on his toes. He's got to move his feet and land on his heels.
5 seconds left for Mayer. Frederick Gideus, 257 is good. $277 good for Panchik, and we got a tie atop the heat at 277 pounds. Ben Smith and Scott Panchik.
We saw some of the same opening lifts in our previous heat where they made about a 15 to 16 pound jump.
Cole Sager, 250 pound attempt.
I think it's a good opening lift for Cole. What I'd like to see is he always performs well under the lights, in front of the crowd. We saw it in the Open in the third weekend where he hit that last second 265. Hope to see it again here on the floor for a second attempt.
245, good for James Newberry. Next up, we'll have George Sanchez, the man that had the largest comeback of any athlete at regionals this year, 37 points out. Found himself qualifying with that 5th and final spot out of the West Regional. And he'll miss his opening attempt at 245.
That was just a little bit too out in front. You're talking about 1 to 2 inches. I say pull the elbows back a little bit higher, be a bit more patient in the bottom, and you'll get your lift.
Last to go this round will be Samuel Quant, and that was easy at 267. So of the 13 in the field, 12 were able to hit a successful lift in round number 1. The only one unable to do so, Travis Mayer, and he's going to have to do some work here on the second wave. So we do have that empty platform, 20-second wait.
We have a 5-way tie at 277, and really that'd be your top 9 positions so far after the first round and 1 heat prior to this.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so we go back to Jeff Patzer. This is a 22-pound increase from round number 1, 247, and he comes off the platform, and that's no good. Still has time on the clock. He'll be 0 for 2 in his attempts there. He'll go back to 225.
It's just rushing the catch. Like I said, you don't get too excited. You can stay in the bottom. For most of these guys, staying in the bottom is key. I know it's a heavy, heavy weight to sit down there. But as long as he gets it off within the 20 seconds, and he's got about 2 seconds left to go.
Oh, that could be costly for Forte. 15-pound increase to 270 for Paul Castillo. No good there. He would be 3rd place in the heat if he's successful, taking his time here. 5 seconds remaining on the clock. And 0 for 2 for Castillo. 250 on the bar for Jason Carroll. 23-pound increase from round 1.
I mean, that's a big increase. You know, it might even seem like so much when you're talking about the percentage of the weight that you previously did. That is a 15% increase from his first lift.
I think he made a mistake there, not knowing how much time was on the clock. Lucas Esslinger, no mistake there. 278 to put him out in front in the heat.
And that is someone who knows what's happening on the leaderboard, because 278 breaks the 5-way tie at 277, jumps him all the way up into a sole 5th place position.
This will be good for 3rd overall through 2 heats. Ben Smith. It's been a shaky start to the weekend for the 2015 champion, but put a bar in his hands and he's right at home. Travis Mayer, the lone athlete to not hit a lift in round number 1, this at 270. Where was that the first round for Travis?
That was a very nice lift and a very gutsy move to go up after not getting that first round lift.
272 on the bar for Frederick Agidius, a 15-pound increase from round 1. That's solid. This will be to tie 2nd place Elijah Muhammad's score from heat number 1. 292 pounds on the bar for Scott Panchik.
Now he had that fine, he missed it back. If you're talking about trying to get back to the bar quickly, it's okay to miss it back. That means you had it there. More patience in the bottom for Scott Panchik.
And that's dangerous for Panchik. He's going to be flirting with that cut line for the top 10. Cole Sager throwing that behind him. This at 270 pounds.
Three, 2, 1.
0 for 2 for Sager. We go to James Newberry. 15-pound increase to 260. And successful for Newberry. George Sanchez, wow, biggest jump we've seen yet. 30-pound increase to 275.
I mean, some of that is going for it, but part of it too is that if you know you're not going to crack the top 10, you want to get something that keeps you high on the leaderboard, but I think I'll just shut up and let you make the lift.
280 on the bar for Samuel Quant. This will move him into a tie for 5th, and it does. And the youngster is feeling it with that bar slam. Good at 280 to move into the top 5.
I like seeing that young, fiery attitude. We saw the same thing in the first heat.
So our winner here in the heat will be Ben Smith at 290 pounds. He will sit in the 3rd position with 1 heat remaining. Remember, we're only taking the top 10 to those 2 bonus rounds where they'll get 2 more shots at increasing their score a little bit later from now once we're through with heat number 3. And what we've seen from this, 2 athletes move into the top 5 here, one of them being Samuel Kwan.
Well, he started out with that 260 weight and then hit the 280. That's going to put him in a tie for 5th place. Now, Panchek went for 292, try to get over the 290 and match a 292 previously. The problem is he only had a 277 in the bank. I say only 277. I'm happy if I can just pull it off the ground, but that, unfortunately, 277 is not going to make the top 10. And for Ben Smith, that was a much needed moment for him. His first lift was very shaky. It was not a good lift, but to hit that weight right now, that's a good thing for Ben.
Ben, you put up 290 pounds. How are you picking your weights? Does it have anything to do with some of the big numbers the other guys are putting up?
Yeah, the last heat put up some good numbers, so I knew I had to come in with a bigger opener. I didn't want to come out with too little of a weight, so felt good today and just kind of picked it as I went.
Looks like you're going to get 2 more lifts. Tommy Venus said he's going for 3 blues. What are you going for?
I want to go for that number 1 spot.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks.
What'd you say about liking that young kind of moxie going there, Ben Smith, with that confidence that a Games veteran and a former champion would have? He wins the heat at 290. Tommy Venus continues to hold the lead at 295, and we've got 1 heat remaining coming up next.
Your chance to make some noise, Madison. Your 3rd and final heat of our 1RM.
One last heat to figure out our top 10 that will advance to the final 2 bonus rounds in the 1RM Max Snatch men's event number 5 of the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Sam Farber with you here in Madison, Wisconsin. And it's time to see if the favorite can hold his ground here in round number 1 of event number 5.
Well, I say it's a pretty good event for Matt Fraser if you're talking about holding on to that spot. A 1RM max snatch. He has the highest lifted total at 315 of any athlete. They're going to get 2 opportunities at 20 seconds per, rotating through every athlete. The top 10 list will advance to a 2nd round. We'll have 2 more opportunities to get the heaviest weight of the day.
That's the general overview. For a little deeper look, we go to Sam Farber.
Is they do get 2 20-second segments, but they get as many attempts within it as they can handle. Here's some more rules from head judge Adrian Bosman. They must declare their lift weight before they attempt it, and they can't change it up or down once the 20 seconds begins. Also, all they have to do is begin their lift before the 20 seconds ends. They don't have to complete it. So if they have a second attempt in that period that starts at, say, 19 seconds, our exceptionally talented camera crew and production crew have to keep track of 2 athletes at the exact same time.
Thank you, Sam. And I mentioned if you're the favorite, you got to defend your turf. This is easily the favorite in this event.
Well, you know, if I'm Matt, it's like, okay, what is it going to take to get into the top 10? Holding on to that bottom position, there's a 3-way tie for 8th, and that's at 277. We've seen 80, 90. I think you're going to have to get something north of 280, 285 if you want to secure a top 10 position.
Biggest threat to Matt Fraser in this heat will be in lane number 1, and he's going to start us off. It's Alex Anderson. He opens at 260. And he's good there, and I got to ask, that almost seems conservative for somebody with a 305.
I was just about to say the same thing. I think that's a very overly conservative lift for Alex Anderson. A 25, you're going to need a 20 to a 25-pound jump from there just to get into the top 10.
Next lifter, Logan Collins. And he is good on that attempt at 247 pounds. Third place finisher 1 year ago, the rookie of the year 1 year ago, Patrick Vellner, next up at 262. That's a solid 262 for Vellner, who's making a move back up the leaderboard. He was mid-pack early on yesterday. He's now in 9th place in points.
Well, that 100-point finish in the O course can help boost you up the leaderboard pretty quickly.
255, good for Street Horner, the recent graduate of the University of Iowa, making his games debut. Also making a games debut, Ricky Garrard. This at 267.
We said his name a lot yesterday after the bike and Amanda 45. Not too much splash on the O course for him, but he's still sitting in that 5th place overall on the leaderboard.
So 267, the new lead in the heat. It'll be 265 on the bar for Bjorkman Carl Goodmanson.
Now what he's going to have to understand is that he's going to have to get between 95 to 97% of his max lift that he's ever done just to get into that top 10.
This looks a little conservative, but there's still 1 round remaining. Matt Fraser, 273. I believe that's called textbook.
And what you want too is that it might be conservative, but there's also an element is like you don't want to miss your first lift, because the problem is if you miss your first round, having to get somewhere around 280, you don't want to have to bump that up from there, not having a successful lift up until that point.
Janikowski, number 2 in the point standings, 10 points behind Fraser. This one not necessarily going to be a strong event for him. He opens up at 247 and good. Heaviest opener on the floor is for Brent Fikowski, 280.
Now Brent is so smooth in his lifts. Nothing's too fast or flashy.
Ooh, that's a nice save.
His technique is so good. He has that nice wide grip on the barbell, and what that allows you to do is less distance to pull through the movement. That's great opening lift for Brent Fikowski.
Noah Olson tied with Ricky Garrard for 5th in the point standings. This an attempt at 263.
A lot of times in this first round, it's just shaking the nerves off. This is a very you only have 2 attempts. 2 attempts to hit something you've maybe hit in your life 3 to 5 times ever. Now you got to do it in front of 10,000 people.
Jason Smith, good at 265. Next attempt, Dakota Rager. He has 230 on the bar. He actually has the lowest listed PR of any of the men's athletes here in the field. Solid lift for Rager at 230 pounds. Next up, Cody Mooney. 267. Missing that first one. He still has about 10 seconds. And redeemed on that second attempt. And to close out round number 1, Cody Anderson, 247.
And that's another missing back. You didn't get to see the bottom part, but a lot of times when you are stepping through and missing it behind you, just wasn't enough patience in the bottom, waiting to catch the weight, standing back up.
Curious weight choice by Alex Anderson, 277. That's in the danger zone.
And that's exactly in the danger zone. 277 is tied for 9th place.
Next up, Logan Collins, 267 on the bar. Collins, one of the athletes, knows he's not going to make the top 10, just trying to get every position he can, and he's good at 267.
I like the patience in the bottom. He's turning a little bit. He didn't panic. A lot of guys will stand up too soon to try to adjust the bar. Adjust it in the bottom of the squat.
Once again, 277 on the bar for Patrick Vellner.
I don't know if there's a gentleman's agreement to have a 10-way tie at 277, but these guys are on their way.
No good on the first.
What needs to be careful is that this is a movement that hurt him last year at the regional level. Do not rush the pull on this lift.
0 for 2. And Vellner's day will be done in this event. 270 on the bar for Streethorner, 15-pound bump from round 1. I love all the youthful confidence we're seeing in this event from some of these guys. Ricky Garrard, 282. This will put him pretty solidly in the top 10.
This is needed. A lot of these guys need to hit something about 280 to get into the top 10. We had about a 6-way tie at 277. That lift alone bumped out 6 guys out of the top 10 contention.
280 for Goodmanson.
I like that lift, everything about it. Solid catch, there's no shake in the arms, good foot movement, solid lift.
Matt Fraser, 286 on the bar. This would move him into the 4th position.
He has to hit this lift if he wants to move on.
Trust in Matt Fraser to pick the right weights in this event. Next up, Janikowski, 267, and this will be some good damage control if he can hit this one. Still has some time. And 0 for 2 and 247, and this is going to be a significant hit to the points total of Janikowski. 286 to tie Matt Fraser for 4th.
This is what I want. I want a bunch of trash talkers in the final heat. I want to do it to the crowd. I want them to do it to each other. It's friendly competition and banter. But this is what I think the sport's been missing for about a couple of years now.
273, good for Noah Olson. Curious of that choice, 15 pounds under his PR, but a good total of 273, currently good for 18th.
It's going to take 280 or more to get into the top 10. This is a great decision just if you want to try to move on from here.
282, good for Jason Smith. He moves into a tie for 6th. This will be a PR for Dakota Rager. Listed PR of 245, this 247. Lost that one in front of him, still has some time.
Just does not have enough pull through the middle. Legs look tired.
275, 8-pound increase for Cody Mooney. Cody Mooney got the love from the crowd. Cody Anderson caught onto the wake of it and used that for some energy as well.
That helped Cody Anderson PR snatch by 3 pounds.
So Brent Fikowski wins the heat, not Matt Fraser. They both hit 286. The heavier second good lift was for Brent Fikowski, so he has the tiebreaker, and he takes heat number 3. They're both moving on, though, to our 10 double bonus round, basically, final.
Hey, 282 is a gutsy move, but a necessary move. As we're trying to look at the leaderboard, we said something north or at 280 is what was needed. Fraser, this is a high pressure lift. I know he's, almost 30 pounds under his max PR, but the snatch, it's so fickle. All it takes is one slip up to miss here. Fikowski stayed in the bottom and talking with a lot of confidence moving into that top 10.
All right, Brent. Well, yesterday, our first time here in the Coliseum, it was a lot of body weight stuff. The little guys had their day. Today, it's the big guys' turn. What's it like competing in an event that favors you a little bit in this atmosphere?
Pretty exciting, man. It's quite the atmosphere in here. The floor is amazing, and yeah, I'm looking forward to these next 2 lifts.
Like you said, you get 2 more. I asked Ben this question, I'll ask it to you. Mr. Venus said he's going for 3 blues. What are you going for?
I'll worry about the next lift. I'm just going to try and go heavy. The goal was to get into that top 10, and after that, it's gravy, so go big or go home.
Now, there is a great crowd here for you to, have propel you up a little bit. You're playing to the crowd a little bit with that bar above your head. Talk to me about what's going through your mind as you do some of those things, lifting 290 pounds over your head.
I think if you come into an event like this and you don't believe you're the biggest man out here, you're not going to do so hot. So I try to be pretty humble, but when it's snatch time, you got to get aggressive. So yeah.
We're looking forward to seeing what you do next round. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I said it before and I'll say it again. I love this event. We have the top 10 moving on. That will be coming up next with 2 more shots to increase the weight for our 10 heaviest lifters in the field.
that they just snatched double body weight of Boz?
Hey guys, I'm basically going to do roughly the same thing. We're just saying it's from
It's bonus round time in the men's event number 5 final, the 1RM Max Snatch here at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin. 2 rounds down, 2 rounds left for our top 10. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Sam Farber with you here in Wisconsin. And Chase, I would just love to see this event all day.
Yeah, I could watch this all day, especially if they have, give them 10 opportunities, make it a good show. But here's what we got. We got 2 lifts. 1 every 20 seconds, 2 rounds total. These are your top 10 athletes from the qualifying rounds. What you'll probably see right off the start is they'll probably take a step back of what they hit last to make a bigger jump to try to jump what they did in the first round.
So that's the general overview. Let's get a little deeper look and go to Sam Farber.
Well, guys, the rules for this event from head judge Adrian Bosman, you see him there. They get 2 20-second periods within which they can attempt their lifts. They can't change their weight, but they can try it as many times as they want within that 20 seconds. Now, that is a big advantage for the last guys to lift, the ones who lift the heaviest in the first round, Easy Muhammad and Tommy Venus. They get to see what everyone else puts up and make their decision before they lift last.
Thank you, Sam. And for Easy and Tommy, they've had to wait a long time since they went over in heat number 1. Let's take a look at the point standings here before these 10 guys go. Matt Fraser, the points leader. The best news for him, Janikowski did not make the top 10, which is as expected in an event like this. Bjorkman, Carl Goodmanson, Brent Fikowski, Ricky Garrard, also in the top 5. They are in the top 10 final here in this event.
And they're also within striking distance with Matt's first round. But what we're probably going to see is
3, 2,
that, well, don't forget, the first round weights do count in this section. So if nobody lifts more than 295, Tommy Venus is going to win this event.
There's 285 for Samuel Kwan, a 5-pound improvement from his opening round total of 280. Bjorkman, Carl Goodmanson only making a 1-pound increase up to 281. And 0 for 2 for BKG, still good at 280. 287 on the bar, 5-pound increase for Jason Smith. So give him a total now of 287 pounds. We'll move him provisionally into 4th place in the event. Ricky Garrard also going for 287, also a 5-pound increase. Nearly left the platform, but he does control it. Good at 287, 293 to move into 2nd place, Garrett Fisher.
That's one of those misses behind, and what he didn't do is that he hopped forward a little bit. He needs to extend through the top and just move his feet laterally to catch that bar.
Oh, what a save. So Fisher now into 2nd place. Brent Fikowski, 5-pound increase to 291. This is a PR attempt.
That is the cleanest lift we've seen of all these athletes so far into this round.
3, 2, 1.
Matt Fraser, 291.
Until that one. That is textbook lifting from Matt Fraser.
Ben Smith, 7-pound jump. This will be the new lead, 297.
Hold it. Ben
Still got a shot.
Ben can get that lift. I wouldn't re-attempt that. You've already got a solid lift in the bag at 290. Wait for the next round, because you don't want to rush that lift. You got one more coming. If this is the last round, I'd say something different.
Easy Muhammad, 297 for the lead. He hasn't had an official attempt in over a half hour, and he still increases 5 pounds to 297, and it was smooth.
And we have 300 on the bar for the first time.
Tommy Venus said he wants 3 blues. He had to earn that right. He's on his way. 302, first man over 300.
3, 2, 1.
Back to Samuel Quant, 292. 7-pound jump. For 2 will be good at 285. 286 on the bar. Goodmanson did not hit 281. He does jump 5 pounds from the last round.
There you go. Much better. He had a good pull through the middle. He was pulling himself forward earlier. He stayed balanced above the bar, moves his feet from the side, catching on the heels.
Jason Smith looking to move into 3rd place with this one, 295.
I liked his last lift, and I like going for it here. Didn't catch it clean.
Still has time on the clock.
I think he went a little too wide with his stance when he received the bar. Tighten that up just a little bit.
3, 2, 1.
Would have been good if he got it. He did not. 300 pounds, Ricky Garrard.
I liked his last lift. He's going to have to jump a little bit harder, because he snuck under that bar on his last one at 287. So he's going to really drive, but it's not going to have enough time.
He won't have time. 305 to take the lead. Garrett Fisher.
So fast under the bar. That was so much better than his last attempt at 293.
Come to the games, why not get a personal record and take the lead? 305 good for Fisher. 300 on the bar for Brent Fikowski. You get a PR, you get a PR, Brent Fikowski. 300, 10-pound increase from his heaviest prior lift. Fraser missing 297, a little surprised that he's only going for that weight. And he reverts back to 291. That's a curious weight choice, but it didn't matter in the end. 300 pounds for Ben Smith. 3 pounds higher than the last round.
He's just got to be a little bit more patient on the pull through the middle.
And he stays at 290, which happened in the opening rounds, unless he takes a last-second effort, and he does not. He throws 306 behind him. This is for the lead.
3, 2, 1.
Doesn't get that lift off. Here we go. You wanted 3 blues, Tommy. You got 3 blues. 315. Oh, he could have gone for it. He could have gone for it. The bar was off the ground. He might have known he might not have had it. And he'll take second place because Garrett Fisher wins the 1-rep max snatch at 3:05, going 4 for 4 in the process.
And Garrett Fisher looked really shaky at 293, jumps 12 pounds up to 3:05. Fikowski, this is a 10-pound PR for Brent Fikowski. I mean, how often are you going to get this type of atmosphere in front of this type of crowd? No better place to PR. Tommy Venus, I love this kid's attitude. Youngest guy in the field comes out and stands toe-to-toe with the strongest guys in the field. And Fisher, with that shaky 293, comes out to 3:05 and gets himself the best lift of the day and 100 points.
Garrett, our announcers were just talking about maybe your cleanest lift of the day, the best looking one you had on the last one. What's going through your mind as you try and put up 3:05?
Nothing to lose. I mean, the weekend hasn't really been going the way I wanted to, so I had nothing to lose right there.
That's a PR for you. How much does this crowd here in Madison, Wisconsin help you put 5 more pounds on your personal best?
It means so much. I haven't snatched anything above 285 in, I don't know, 8 months. So that just shows you the crowd has a lot to do with it.
Now, you had to have that weight stand up with 5 very talented lifters. Did you think 3:05 was going to survive?
I was a little nervous, but it was a good lift. I felt confident with it.
It's an event win for you. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Garrett Fisher came into the event in 30th in the point standings, and he will take 100 huge points trying to move back up the leaderboard. So that will do it for men's event number 5. It's time to clear off the platforms, and the ladies will take the floor next in the 1-rep max snatch event.
Do it. Good, good, good. This is a fun event.
Ladies coming up.
Well, we've let the guys have their fun with the heavy barbells. Now it's the ladies' turn in event number 5, the 1-rep max snatch of the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Amanda Krenz with you. Here in Madison, Wisconsin, we saw some big numbers on the men's side. Now it's the women's turn here on our 1-rep max snatch.
They got 2 attempts in the first round. They'll have 20 seconds per lift as they rotate through the athletes within the heat. Your top 10 list will advance to another round of 2. So these athletes really need to know who they're competing against and what those maxes may or may not be. I think it's going to be something north of about 180, 185 if they want to crack the top 10.
And for more insight on the strategy behind this event, we go to Amanda Krenz.
There are so many things that make this an incredible event to watch. This is not like lifting in your gym at home. There are so many variables that these athletes are dealing with. What weights are the other athletes lifting out on the floor? That puts pressure on you. The time constraints that you're under. So what makes this fun is to see if these athletes are going to play it safe just to get numbers on the board, or are they going to go big, maybe even for a personal record? Chase, what do you think?
I think your first heat athletes tend to be some of your stronger, but since they're sitting so far outside and they're going first, they're going to have to take some chances in the first heat. I think the athletes in the final heat, now that they know what scores are on the board, they don't have to take as many chances if you're in that final heat. That's where it helps to be up in that top 10, 15.
First wave of athletes here in heat number 1. We've got a field of 11, and there are 3 pretty notable names in this one. In lane number 1, an American Open qualifier twice, Casey Campbell, the CrossFit Liftoff winner in 2016, Alessandra Pacelli. But in platform number 2, Brooke Wells, who has the 2nd highest lifted total of anybody in the field. We start with Casey Campbell, 2-time American Open qualifier, 168. That's a solid opening list.
It is, and she has a lot more in the tank. You can see she almost missed it back. It almost came out of her hands. She pulled it so high, so she's got a lot more in the tank.
171 for Brooke Wells, a little conservative for her.
And it's an easy 171. What I like is that technique has cleaned up so much since we've seen in the last year. Usually she kind of pulls the bar past the knees and hitches. That was a smooth lift all the way through.
165 for Alexis Johnson. So we've seen 3 very solid lifts to start us off. We now move to Jessica Griffith at 162 pounds.
I said before, these are a lot of warm-up rounds in your first attempt of the first round. It's something to instill some confidence in you moving into the second.
In CrossFit, around November, we have a competition called the Liftoff. It's a 1-rep max snatch, a 1-rep max clean and jerk, and 1 Metcon event. The winner of it was Alessandra Pacelli. She opens at 187.
She's got a lifted max of 210, I believe. So Pacelli, it's a good opening lift, and what we've seen before in the men's side is some of your biggest heavy hitters will be in this last heat, just based off the events we've had to start this weekend.
Nice recovery, and you can see the relief on her face. Good at 187. 186 for Whitney Yulin. Wasn't easy, but she stands it up.
That can get very dangerous, especially when you have a weight overhead that heavy and you start to turn in the bottom. That's a very dangerous thing, so she's going to need to clean that up on the next round.
Carly Fuhrer, 157 on the bar. Very conservative number for somebody with a listed PR of 185.
And maybe it's just nerves or basically how they feel. They've had 4 events up until this point and a rough day yesterday, so they're definitely feeling that today.
Kirsten Pedry, 165. And good at 165. So we talk about conservative openers. How about this for an aggressive opener? Listed PR for Madeline Sturt is 159. She opens at 155.
I think it's like Garrett Fisher said, he might have not had the weekend he wanted to, so there's, you might as well go for it. Or that isn't your listed 1-rep max at 155.
It might be a little bit outdated, perhaps, as that was a very easy 155 for Sturt.
I think we saw Ricky Garrard do that. His listed was 265. He ended up getting in the final round of 10.
Reagan Huckabee, this will be good for 3rd at 177. The speed was there, just lost it in front. Nice correction on the second attempt. Jessica Coughlin, 175 her opener. And she will move into fourth place.
That's a good opening weight. Just looking at these athletes' maxes on paper, if they're up to date, something around 185 to 190, I believe is what it's going to be needed to get into that top 10.
So we have 3 empty platforms. We'll have 1 minute to reset as they want to keep the pacing equal for everybody. And let's take a look back at one of these lifts. And this was 177 for Reagan Huckabee.
And all that is that she's trying to go too fast. She's not finishing the lift. And what I mean by that is that when you extend up through the top, athletes sometimes know they have to be fast. Well, you don't want to short your hips to get under the bar. Pacelli missing the bar back. All she really needs to do is to keep the elbows up on the way through the pull, catch it clean, and have patience when you stand up. We don't need to rush the stand.
Those are 2 good examples of what you can do with that 20-second clock as opposed to having 1 attempt only. Here in this one, we got about 10 seconds before we start our second and final round of heat number 1. And we go back to Casey Campbell. She at 168 in round 1, 8-pound jump to 176 here. Still a little time on the clock for Casey Campbell. She could keep going. I think there's some athletes being confused. 187 on the bar for Brooke Wells, and she's in a tie for first.
Nice clean lift for Brooke Wells. That will get her right on the bubble. Like I said, it's at 185 to 190 range. I think it's going to be what it takes. So I'd like to see how 187 holds up after we go into the next 2-3 heats.
Alexis Johnson, 176. Solid lift.
That's a very nice lift from Alexis Johnson.
Moving to Jessica Griffith, 175, and these lifters are in a troubling spot in heat number 1. They have no idea what's coming up in the last 2 heats.
That's why I said it pays to gamble a little bit when you're in the first heat. 1, you have 2 heats watching what you do. What you do can dictate what they do. Maybe they didn't want to start that heavy because you hit something big. The other one is that you're at the bottom of the leaderboard right now. You need to start taking chances at this moment in time, especially if you're a good lifter.
9-pound jump. This will again put Pacelli solo out in front at 196. Okay, that was smooth. 196, good for Pacelli. 4 pounds shy of 200, and we're nearing that number already here in our opening rounds. Whitney Yulin, 191, 5-pound increase.
And just didn't get underneath the bar. Sometimes when you don't have a good pull, the feet will shoot too wide to make up for not getting the bar as high.
3, 2, 1, lift.
Wow, took a 3rd shot at it, no for 3. 168 for Carly Fuhrer.
That was a great save. I'm trying to say it since the beginning. Stay at the bottom of the lift. These 1-rep max overhead squats are much higher than what they're snatching. You can stay at the bottom of that lift and be safe. That's where you save a lift.
Kirsten Pedri, good at 175. That's a 10-pound increase for her. And for most of the athletes here in this field, they're more going for positioning as opposed to trying to get into the top 10. 175 would be an example of that. Here's 165 for Maddie Sturt. I would say it's a PR, but I don't think that listed one is up to date based on what we've seen thus far.
She got it plenty high, but she swung it out front just a little bit too much. Pull your elbows high after you jump to make sure the bar path stays close to the body.
Sturt good at 165. We go to 187 for Reagan Huckabee to tie her for 2nd place.
Much better execution. And sometimes when you have lighter weight on the bar, when you're about that 80% range, that can be a percentage range that throws off a lot of athletes, where they miss that more often than less weight.
2, 1, lift.
Huckabee's lift Coughlin with 1
Jessica Coughlin, 190 the attempt. This would move her into second place, still about 10 seconds remaining. And 0 for 2, and she's going to be in trouble at 175. Took a shot at 190, which would have been decently safe based on your projections, Chase, and looks like she will wind up not making it at 175. That'll be tied for 6th here in the opening round. But we saw some heavy numbers here in our first heat.
That's a good lift for Brooke Wells at 187. Should be good enough as we move into 2 more heats, because some of your strongest athletes will be here. Huckabee, who had a very shaky first rep, it gets cleaned up as you get heavier. Snatches is one of those movements, is that you get heavier, most athletes get a little bit better. And Pacelli, 196. This is a good statement and confidence boost for her moving into, hopefully, the second wave of lifts.
Sandra, your second lift appeared to go better than the first one. What was going on with that?
I think I just got really fired up and just learned from my mistakes on my first miss, and just tried to focus on, my common mistakes and, what to stay tight and just pull high.
What sort of advice did your coach have for you coming out here?
He said just concentrate on 2 things, and those were the 2 things.
Okay. Can we expect any numbers with the next round?
Yeah, I hope to go over 200, and I guess we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
Thanks.
So Alessandra Pacelli, your Heat 1 winner at 196. That's perhaps the only number in this heat that looks to be pretty safe, as we've still got 2 heats remaining. Heat 2 coming up next. One heat down, 2 heats remain in the qualifying rounds, if you will, in women's event number 5, the 1RM Max Snatch of the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Amanda Krenz with you on the floor of the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin. We've already seen our first 11. Time for 12 more athletes to take on our next test.
And they got a big test ahead of them. The Heat 1 put up some big numbers, and that's what they're going to be chasing here. You get 1 lift every 20 seconds, 2 total attempts. They'll circle back around. We'll have about a 5-minute break in between. Your top 10 will advance into a next round of 2 more attempts.
That's a 10,000-foot look at the rules. Let's take a field-level look at the rules and go down to Amanda Krenz.
Well, so the first thing these athletes have to do is tell their judge what weight they're going to lift. They have to declare that weight. Then, as you said, 20 seconds to make a lift. And they can't change their weight once those 20 seconds start. They can, however, make as many attempts as they want, or as few as they want, within those 20 seconds as they want. So this is where it's going to be fun to see if the athletes play it conservative or if they try to lift something big, guys.
Thank you, Amanda. And heat number 2 is going to be an interesting one when it comes to strategy. You don't have any notable monster lifters in this heat. In fact, the highest listed one will be Dani Horan at 193 as a listed PR. She'll be out here, as will Stacy Tovar at 192.
And that's exactly what I was looking at as this second heat names popped up after what was put up in heat 1. These athletes in the second heat have 5 women in the third heat with snatches over 200 pounds as a listed 1-rep max. If they want to get into the top 10, you are going to have to PR a lift if you want to make the top 10 in this round of 2.
10 seconds away from our opening lifter, and Lauren Fisher wanting to match her brother on this one. Garrett Fisher won the men's side of this event. Lauren opening at 170. Fisher good on that opening lift of 170 pounds. No surprise there with the background she has in Olympic lifting.
She does, and she's very good at what she does. The problem is that in Olympic weightlifting, there's weight classes. There are no weight classes here in CrossFit. It's all that matters is what you put on the bar.
150 on the bar for Valerie Voberl, who is good on her opening attempt. Stacy Tovar, 8th and final games appearance, 175 pounds on her opening lift. And we're 3 for 3.
Now Tovar, if she were to get within 5 pounds of her max, she could put herself in position to maybe make the top 10 at 192. So she's going to have to get somewhere at 87 or higher.
We were speaking about the strategy here. Carrie Pierce going aggressive. Listed PR 185, this 177, and that was smooth.
And sometimes that plays into the fact that some athletes like big jumps, some athletes do not like big jumps. So you might do something much closer to your max because you're most confident within 90% and you don't like jumping 20 pounds.
Also with the listed PR of 185, Carol-Ann Reason-Tebow opening at 161.
And that's kind of the opposite, right? Maybe you need a bit more confidence in the lift. There's so much that goes in the play with snatch I don't really think people understand, is because all it takes is a half an inch out of position and you're going to miss this. It's not like a clean where you can just kind of grip it, rip it, and hang on. All you have to do is not drop the bar. You got to keep the bar close, you got to catch it clean and stabilize it to stand up.
176 for Turi Helgadottir. That's a save.
We'll probably make a lot of Olympic lifters mad by counting that lift. I know she pressed it out, but it was a good save and a good lift here at the CrossFit Games.
176 good for Helgadottir, 176 also good for Cassidy Lance McWhorter. We go to 175, Emily Abbott.
Very good lift. I think she has at least 10 to 15 more in her into the next round.
I like the composure she had on the setup. Something didn't feel right. She just took her time, took another shot at it. Alethea Boone, 170 pounds. She's got a wealth of momentum going for her since having 0 points with back-to-back last place finishes in the first 2. She has been on fire since then.
I said she's coming off the injury from last year from a ruptured Achilles. Running and riding bikes isn't something you can train for a very long time. So she was more damage control in the first 2 events yesterday morning. Cap it off with a great Amanda. Great O course earlier today. She's getting back into her element with this snatch.
166 good for Mackenzie Riley. This 180, heaviest opener thus far in the round for Dani Horan.
Now Dani comes into this heat with the highest listed 1-rep max at 193. If she can get within about 95, 97% of that, it should give her an opportunity to crack the top 10. Personally, don't leave it to chance. PR, match it, give yourself a better fighting chance to get into the top 10.
Margot Alvarez missing the first attempt at 167. 0 for 2. Don't believe she's going to get another shot at it, so she'll be the only one to not record a lift in this first round.
She missed it back. It's not the worst thing to miss. A lot of times, you know, as a coach joking in the gym is if I have an athlete who misses it back on a PR attempt, I go put 2.5 to 5 more pounds on the bar, and that'll put it in the good position for you.
One of the surprises in this opening round, 177 for Carrie Pierce.
And a lot of that I said is that maybe she's more comfortable starting heavier. A lot of times athletes are good within about 90 to 95%. Haran, who came in with a 193 listed max, also put up 180. That's that edge kind of teetering line if you want to make the top 10.
Go back for round number 2, starting again with Lauren Fisher, 10-pound increase to 180. For 2. She'll revert back to her round 1 score of 170. This is a PR attempt for Valerie Voberl, 165. Missing it forward, has more time, about 10 seconds left.
I like the speed off the floor of the bar. If she can just keep it close and pull the elbows high to finish that second pull, she can make it.
And 0 for 2, going for that birthday PR. Voberl unable to do so. 187 on the bar for Stacy Tovar. So tie her for second place with Reagan Huckabee and Brooke Wells. Should have a solid tiebreak with that 175 in round 1. 0 for 2, and she is likely not going to make it to the top 10. Carrie Pierce, 187. This would put her in a tie for second. Over the last couple of years, the biggest weakness for Pierce was Olympic lifting strength. She's been working on it. Caroline Reason-Tebow, 170 on the bar, 9-pound increase.
And a lot of times we make so much of trying to get into the top 10, but you either can do it or you can't. You're either strong or you're not. And a lot of this is keeping your place on the leaderboard at a solid position against the next 30 athletes too.
7-pound jump from 176 to 183 for Turi Helgadottir. So much fight in that first one. The second one would have been very tough. 191 for second place. Cassidy Lance McCorder.
She really needed that. That's a solid lift, much needed.
187 to move into this log jam position. Emily Abbott.
187 pounds.
Missing the first. She needs this one here.
Yes.
So we have a 4-way tie for third at this point at 187.
180 pounds.
180 for Alethea Boone. It's a big number for one of the smaller athletes in the field.
It's just a great lift altogether. I really like the power off the floor, the positioning in the catch. Just a very clean lift for Alethea Boone.
Mackenzie Riley's been quiet in this one. Good at 167, good at 179, and smooth on both attempts. Danny Haran, 188 to move 1 pound ahead of that log jam at 187. This is a brilliant move.
Absolutely. If she can get the lift at 188, and that's really all it takes. And knowing that it's underneath the lift you've done before, there's confidence in that movement.
Crunch time for Margot Alvarez. Missed both attempts that she had at it in the first round. She needs this one at 172 to record a score. So Margot does get on the board at 172, but your winner in the heat and new second place athlete overall through 2 heats is Cassidy Lance McCorder, 191 pounds.
It's going to be close if we're looking at the top list from 1 to 10 coming in. That's going to be right there on the bubble. And just a good solid lift. You almost see kind of a breath, a sigh from Danny Horan, but 191 at 6 pounds above her listed max. So Cassidy Lance-McWhorter has put herself into position to get into the top 10.
Cassidy, why did you pick the weights that you picked for those lifts?
So I know 176 I can always hit at any point, and then 191 we're at the CrossFit Games, so I had a PR.
And there is some strategy in that. You are here. You want to make sure you get on the leaderboard. So do you play it conservative or do you go big? Obviously, we know what you're choosing.
This is a big stage, so go for it.
Thanks, Cassidy.
Thanks.
Well, what better place to PR than at the CrossFit Games? And we still have one heat remaining, and we're going to bring out some of the biggest lifters in the women's field in any level of CrossFit. Coming up next in heat number 3. Most of the heaviest lifters in the women's field of the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games are on the floor for heat 3 of 3 in women's event number 5, the 1RM Max Snatch. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Amanda Krenz with you here in Madison, Wisconsin. And I'm just ready for this heat of this event.
Oh, you got 5 athletes that have a listed snatch of 200 or more coming into this. They're going to have 2 attempts total at 20 seconds apiece. And we'll go from 1 to 14 in order. On the second round, I look for some fireworks from these athletes coming in because a lot of them need some points here when it comes to the leaderboard standings after the events earlier this morning. And what we want to do is you want to get a lift in, and that's what that money in the bank. You want to get a lift in that you are confident with, but that can stand up if needed. And then play the field. We've had 2 heats go. The 10th place position, the weight's 179. But we have a 4-way tie at 187.
And we also have a tie atop the leaderboard in the overall standings through 4 events. Tia-Claire Toomey and Jamie Green at 318. The tiebreak currently goes to Toomey. They both have a win, but she has the second best finish with a second place finish last night in Amanda 45. Tennille Reed-Burline and Samantha Briggs also tied for 3rd coming into this event.
But this is not an event that Sam's going to maximize that positioning with. She's going to have to come back this afternoon because there's not too shabby an event that's left for Sam Briggs.
Big name to keep an eye on in this one that can spoil that point standings a lot is Cara Webb in lane number 13.
Cara comes in with the heaviest listed snatch at 220.
2, 1, lift.
We start with Emily Bridgers at 176 pounds. Bridgers good there. 1 pound lighter will be Bethany Branham at 175. Already with 3 top 10 finishes in the first 4 events of her games career.
She's had a great start to her rookie year at the games. The one thing is for her is that the events also play to her strengths very well for Bethany Branham. This is not one of them.
That's a nerving position for her going into round number 2. 165 on the bar for Kristen Holta. Two straight going 0 for 2 in that 20-second window. We bump up the weight, 185 for Annie Thorisdottir. How much better has her form gotten over the past couple years?
Just about to say the same thing. We've seen Brooke Wells clean her technique up. Annie Thorisdottir used to do the same thing where she would muscle through things. She's so strong. Add technique to that, now she becomes dangerous.
Christy Aramo in the top 5 in the point standings, 24 points behind the lead. She's in at 160, and this is a damage control event for her.
Yeah, and she's kind of middle of the pack when it comes to this, maybe lower third, but she's had a great few events so far, so just keep herself in contention, not too far out. We got more events to go today.
Event winner earlier this morning, Tennille Reed-Berline. Good at 182.
She has a much more narrow grip than the rest of the field, and that can help with stabilizing the bar overhead, but it adds more range of motion to pull through.
This week, 1 year ago, Tia-Clair Toomey was in the Olympics in weightlifting. She opens up here at 186. And that's why she's an Olympian.
And what it does is just come under pressure. The first lift is so nerve-wracking. I don't think people really understand that. You only have 2 opportunities to put a score on the board.
Jamie Green tied for the points lead in at 171. She's going to lose some ground to Toomey in this event just based on the sheer number.
And that's what's going to happen all weekend. You have events you're good at, you have events you're not good at. The idea is that be great in what you're good at and mitigate your losses in what you're bad.
Speaking of mitigating losses, Sam Briggs, this won't be the event for her. She opens up at 156 and does hit her opening attempt.
And hopefully what she's trying to do is that she's looking at the leaderboard and what people put up to know where she can fit within that bottom 30.
182 for Sarah Sigmundsdottir. It's the loudest reaction I've heard for an opening lift on the women's side of this event so far. Katrin Davidsdottir opening up at 185, the 2-time defending champ.
There's no one who loves to lift in front of the crowd more with this particular movement than Katrin Davidsdottir.
Another one of the athletes that's going to have to do some work, just trying to save some points here. Anna Tobias, 155 on the bar.
That is a good lift for her. That's technically the way she executed that, great lift. Sometimes she's just not as strong as the rest of the field, and that's okay because she's much better in other facets of her fitness level.
185, the opening lift for Cara Webb. That's a warm-up lift right there.
It is, and currently 185 is the 10th holding position with 3 athletes tied at that 10th position.
And important to note, in the case of a tie, the second heaviest lift recorded will be the tiebreaker. China Cho good at 167. So after round number 1, Tia Toomey, the leader of the heat at 186. That would be good for 8th as it stands right now, but still 1 round of lifts remaining. Go back to Emily Bridgers, 188.
I think just a little bit more patience in the bottom. She tried to stand up too fast and didn't have the bar in a good position overhead.
3, 2, 1.
She'll go back to that 176. 0 was the score in round number 1 for Bethany Branham. This is huge for her at 155.
And she just shorted her pull. You got to extend all the way through. Even if it feels light, you got to finish the lift. From the bottom, you got to jump all the way up in good stabilization, almost rush it again. And that just can come down to nerves on the big stage.
165 for Kristen Holta, also missing in the first round. She'll redeem herself here this time. Every point matters, and those handful of points that she just got with that one could be huge at the end of the weekend. 192 to take second place. Annie Thorisdottir.
As it sits now, she's tied for 10th.
Not anymore. $172 for Christy Aramo. She's going to go back to 160. 193. This will be for the new second place score. It's Neil Reed Burline takes that spot.
That was a good save.
And we've been speaking about that log jam at 187. Right now, those 4 athletes would be 6th to 9th. Looking at those top 10 lifters that will advance to the final. 196 for Tia Claire Toomey. This would tie her for the lead with Alessandra Pacelli.
She needs to hit this.
And she takes care of that easily. 196 to tie her for the lead. The tie-break rule will also come into play in terms of where they will be on the floor in the final 10 as well.
Now we talk about that 187 where we had a 4-way tie.
And they're in a precarious position, 7th to 10th. 183 for Jamie Green. This would be huge for her. 0 for 2, and she's not going to take another shot. She'll fall back on that 171, good currently for 25th. 176 for Sam Briggs, 20-pound increase. Oh!
You can't attack it the same way. You have to put more into the start.
That would have been gigantic for Sam Briggs. Sarah Sigmundsdottir, 193 to take a tie for 3rd. That's big for her. That's huge for the athletes at 187 because now there's going to be some cuts from within that group.
Well, Davidsdottir's one of those. She's outside, tied for 13th at 185. She has to hit this lift if she wants to advance.
She just went from outside to number 1. 197 is good for Katrin. Here's 171 for Anna Tobias. For 2. She'll fall back on the 155 from round number 1. 192 for Cara Webb. Easy. Tie for 6th. China Cho will have the last window at 183. This won't move her into the top 10, but it will give her a lot of points. Trying to press out of it, and she does. 183 is good for China. Well, that heat did not disappoint. And your leader after the opening round is an emotional China Cho. Celebrating that successful lift at 183. But after the qualifying round, Katrin Davidsdottir leading the way in a little bit of a surprise. She has the 6th heaviest lift in the field. is the leader at 197, but Tia Toomey just 2 for 2 very easily.
Yeah, and she kind of started the trickle of getting the 193 plus, because after that, Sigmund's daughter hit it, and then Katrin David's daughter in front of the crowd almost lost it forward, and that was a big save because she dropped that. She was outside the top 10 with that listed 185 for the first round.
Katrin, did the other athletes out on the floor and seeing what they were lifting have an influence on you and how much you put on the bar?
No, right before we went out the field, I talked with Ben, my coach, and we were playing our own game. And that's normally how I lift my biggest lifts, and I had confidence in those 2 lifts, and it played out nicely.
What sort of work have you been doing on this particular lift?
A lot this year. So I started working with my weightlifting coach, Fred, for this whole season. So we're focusing a lot on like bettering my technique and my speed overall, keeping the bar close. So it was fun to get to do that lift here.
What can we look forward to seeing in this next round?
Bigger lifts.
Right. Good luck, Katrin.
Simple enough from the 2-time champ, and there's still 2 more bonus rounds remaining for the top 10 lifters. We're going to sort out the field, but Katrin David's daughter wins the heat. She's also the event leader after a qualifying round at 197. The top 10 advance. 2 more bonus rounds are coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your top 10 event five? Please welcome, with 187-pound snatch to get here, Carrie Pierce. She lifted 188 pounds, Danny Horan. Next up, with 191 pounds on the leaderboard, Cassidy Lance McWhirter. She went big and paid off 192 pounds for Cara Webb. Also at 192 pounds, Annie Thorsdottir. Earning her spot with the top 10 at 193 pounds.
Give it up for Sarah Sigmundsdottir.
Two more chances for the top 10 here in women's event number 5 of the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games to better their score and perhaps take 100 points. Brandon Domain, Chase Ingram, and Amanda Krenz with you here at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin. And Chase, I could watch this event all day, but we got 20 attempts remaining to shake up this leaderboard where only 5 of the top 10 are still going here in event number 5, including your points leader, Tia Claire Toomey, who will get some ground over Jamie Green, who's tied with her in second.
We're picking up where we left off from the first round. Athletes will get an additional 2 attempts, still 20 seconds per. These are your top 10, so some of these athletes have lifted well over 30 minutes ago, so some are more fresh than others coming in.
Your points leader is also one of the favorites, former Olympian from 1 year ago, Tia Claire Toomey. For an update on her, we go to Amanda Krenz.
Tia Toomey, a very experienced Olympic weightlifter. I talked to her coach backstage in the athlete warm-up area to ask what she was going to try to do out here on the floor in just a few moments. She is going to try and go for a personal best. So for Tia, that's 91 kilos, translates to a little over 200 pounds. Let's see if she can do it.
One athlete I'm looking for to win this is Cara Webb, who has a listed snatch of 220. Now, she did that at the Invitational, not on the competition floor, but in the warm-up area prior to that. So maybe we should put her in a closed room and she might PR again. Now, all these athletes have a lift in them. They've got money in the bank, which means they can either start, I would say start a little bit lighter than what you just hit, so you can make a bigger jump on top of what you already have in the field. Now, what you want to do is that you can see who's going around you. You got to play the game in this final.
3, 2, 1, lift.
First attempt will be for Carrie Pierce at 192. And she's already playing with house cash in terms of PRs. Hit it in the qualifier. She just added to it. She was in at 187. She made her way through in that log jam, the only one at that weight, because of the second tiebreaker. Her and Reagan Huckabee both at 177, but Pierce ranks higher in the standings. That put her in. Danny Horan going for 190 pounds.
2 pounds over what she did in the first round, 3 pounds below the most weight she's ever done.
Next up will be Cassidy Lance McWhirter. She already said she had a PR earlier in the qualifying round at 191. Here's a shot at 195.
That was her best one of the tulips previous to that. So if you're riding the wave of confidence, more or less getting in the zone, this is a great position for Cassidy Lance McWhirter.
Cara Webb, 197. This would tie her with Katrin Davidsdottir for the lead. Little surprising there to see her missing this weight.
She's actually missed snatches like that quite often where your hand position might be a little off, so it tilts to the side. It wasn't a weight issue, but a technique issue, and she cleared it up on the second attempt.
This would be for the lead. Annie Thorsdottir, 198 pounds. Platform 5 has some juice in it. That's where Garrett Fisher was when he won the men's side of this event. And it's got your women's leader right now, Annie Thorsdottir, provisional top spot at 198, and it might not last long. First time we're seeing a 200-pound attempt. with a smile for Sarah Sigmundsdottir, and look out everybody else. Tennille Reed going for 197. This would be a 4-pound jump from where she was in the qualifiers.
She's already PR'd once to get here. And sometimes that's the hard part of having such a narrow grip, trying to save it back. You have to catch it so perfectly. That narrow grip is designed to be more stable, but not necessarily an easier position to hang on to if you're going to miss it forward or back.
2:02 for Alessandra Pacelli.
And that might have been the easiest missed lift I've seen of any of them across the board. She definitely has that in the bag.
She can still stand it up and it counts, and she does. 2:02, new leader, Alessandra Pacelli. 2:02, also the attempt for Tia-Clair Toomey.
This will be a personal record for Tia-Clair Toomey at 202 pounds.
She said she wanted 91 kilos, put about 92 on it and see what happens. Toomey tied for the lead with Pacelli at 2:02. This 200 for Katrin Tanya Davidsdottir. She didn't like something in that one.
It just wasn't her normal starting position. She kind of threw her head back really hard from the start. That's not like Katrin. That was a little bit different start than she usually has.
She's not going to take another attempt there. Carrie Pierce already has 2 PR lifts. Almost made it 3. Still has time if she wants to take a shot at 197. She's sitting in 9th at the moment. And she'll stay there. 192 is her good lift. 190 was good for her, and 192 here. This would tie her for 9th. She's good at 192.
And creeping right underneath her 1-rep max of 193. I think that was a good lift, and it was a good decision for Dani Horan.
And she will have the tiebreaker over Pierce for 9th. 200 pounds, Cassidy Lance McWhorter looking to join the club.
And a very selective club it is. Welcome to the 200-pound club, Cassidy Lance McWhorter.
15 minutes ago, 191 was a PR attempt.
And like I said, every rep got better. So you talk about being in the zone in sports, you can get in the zone. When you find that sweet spot with this lift, you can put a lot of extra weight on the bar.
For the lead.
With ease. With ease.
Let's see how long that lead lasts, though, because Cara Webb's got to survive some heavy hitters. 2:05 on the bar for Annie Thorisdottir. PR attempt.
Talking about 1 pound over the best lift she's ever done in her life. Only thing I tell her, stay at the bottom, keep your chin up.
She'll revert back to her 198. 2:06 for Sarah Sigmundsdottir.
Don't rush, wait for the 3-second call.
So she goes back to 200 for her final score. 198 on the bar for Tennille Reed.
There you go. Much better position when she caught that.
That was actually an increase from the round ago where she didn't record a lift. 2:07 for the lead. Alessandra Pacelli.
PR for her is 2:10, so she's done something like this prior.
And good. Amazingly enough, you couldn't see it from the angle, but we're looking straight on at her. That bar was crooked the entire time.
Yeah, the left side of the bar lifted before the right side of the bar. Usually you don't make that lift.
2:05 for Tia Toomey. This would put her in 2nd place.
Rest. Don't rush. You don't need to. You got 20 seconds.
Unable to do it. Does get a PR though at 2:02 in the last round. 200. Katrin Davidsdottir, she's been a part of the club. She's looking to join it here in this event. And still something doesn't feel right for her at that weight.
And when something doesn't feel right, you want to be very careful about getting underneath barbells this heavy.
She tried to fire herself up there on that one. She'll go back to 197. But Alessandra Pacelli, she won the 2016 CrossFit Liftoff. and she defends her turf here in this event. She wins the 1 rep max snatch event, and for the 5th consecutive event, we have a different winner here at the games.
One thing I like for Cara, who came with the heaviest lift of the group, was a very easy 203 for Cara Webb. That was enough for 2nd overall. Pacelli, see that left side of the bar lift before the right side, and you know that's a very hard weight to save at this stage and at that loading. So that was a great save by Alessandra Pacelli.
Sandra, first of all, what happened with that last lift? You got it, but it looked a little shaky.
I'm not sure what happened. I felt like I was a little off balance. I'm not sure how I got it up. So, yeah.
You still hit it though.
Yeah, pure adrenaline, I suppose.
So your PR is 210. You hit 207 here today. What is the difference between lifting in your home gym and out here on the competition floor?
I think just the crowd and the adrenaline and people cheering you on. I mean, I have that at home, but here it's a much larger crowd, so yeah.
And how are you thinking, like moving ahead to the next events? Where's your mindset at with how you've competed so far and where you hope to be?
I just got to keep moving forward and not looking back. Before this was a little bit of a rough start, so yeah, just trying to bring my way back.
Good luck to you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So Alessandra Pacelli, the liftoff winner, defends her turf here. In the 1 rep max snatch event, we've had 5 different events. We've had 5 different event winners to start off the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games and women's competition, and they'll pick it up in just a little bit from now.
Time to walk through. We were gonna clear a compound. Next thing I know, I stepped on IED. My anger brought me into the box. It was therapeutic for me. I saw the community coming together, cheering you on, the camaraderie. It felt like, you know, being back with the unit. I needed to give back. So I figured, what if I just show people what I do? You know, try to motivate them in my own way. I had a goal to run the Boston Marathon. Running with the flag, it was in honor of my brothers that I served with in Afghanistan. I wanted to show them, hey, we're still fighting. Through tragedy comes great strength.
Every year the crowd sort of picks its favorite. I think this man is in the running.
Hello and welcome everyone back to our Day at the Games desk here at the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games at the Alliant Energy Center in the new home of the Games, Madison, Wisconsin. The individuals just finished the 1-rep max snatch event. And before we get back to recapping all of the competition, we want to wish a very special happy birthday to one Valerie Vobrel. It's her 39th birthday today. She's the oldest woman competitor in the field, but you would never know it by the smile and charisma that she exhibits on the field. Happy birthday to Val.
Happy birthday, Val.
Happy birthday, Val. I hope she has a wonderful day as well on the competition floor. Teams had some competition going on today. We're going to get you guys all caught up. First up, we had the O course, and it was 12 Laborers CrossFit. Came into the day in 5th place overall, made a push by winning the Team O course.
You can see they're out there this morning, people wrapped up in some plastic back there, had to deal with a little bit of weather, a little bit different for the teams and the individuals, some down and back and then skipping this ladder at the end, but awesome job by 12 Laborers CrossFit. Look at how stoked they are after finishing that event.
Going into an event like this, you definitely have to be confident in the ability of every single athlete on your team, and they did a great job, as did the Wasatch Brutes.
Yeah, the Wasatch Brutes, once we came into the Coliseum, we had events 5 and 6, the max clean and jerk, and the Wasatch Brutes had the best combined score from the two teams. Their man very quickly got up to 3 big wheels on the bar, and they made it look easy.
Absolutely.
They were moving big weight, but I'm gonna have to go hats off to the ladies of that team. I have trained with Mandy Janowitz, I have trained with Tiffany Hendrickson, and these girls move big weight. If you guys did see Mandy, she power clean. Not necessarily the strongest squatter when she gets below parallel, but she is a power athlete.
You got Brennan Ford in there, former football player for the Fighting Thunderbirds of Southern Utah University, throwing around some big weight. He's one of the biggest competitors of all the Games athletes here.
Some much needed results for the Wasatch Brutes and 12 Laborers CrossFit. You can see here, pay attention to that red line. The 5 spots above, that was coming into today. And then the results below the line, that's after 6 events. So you see Wasatch and 12 Laborers made a charge up the leaderboard and are actually in a tie for points in 1st and 2nd. Invictus and Mayhem slid down to 3rd and 4th, respectively. So some nice performances from both those teams gave them a big boost up the leaderboard. Now we're going to move over to the men's competition and some of the stuff that was going on today. Starting with the snatch event, Brent Fikowski had a big performance. He made it into the top 10 and he responded with a nice 300-pound snatch.
You know, you can see the look on his face. He came in with a little bit of swagger and backed it up by nailing a huge lift.
And the guy that he was trying to chase down for the top spot overall, the reigning fittest man on earth, Matt Fraser, wearing that white jersey.
Keeping that command on 1st place, putting a lot of distance, starting to put a lot of distance between him and the rest of the field.
Fraser missed his last attempt at 297, but 291 was enough for him to hold on to the white jersey and another top 10 performance from the reigning champ. But the biggest lift of the day would go to neither of those men. It would go to the guy with the best hair in the game, Garrett Fisher, a 305-pound snatch.
Just making it look easy. Every time I've seen him lift out of CrossFit Invictus in San Diego, every lift looks easy, and he did it there.
Garrett Fisher, one half of the Fisher duo, his sister Lauren Fisher competing as well, and these are your overall results from the 1-rep max snatch. Fisher in 1st, Tommy Venus, youngest competitor in the field, 2nd with 302, Fikowski 300, Elijah Muhammad 297, and Samuel Quant, Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, 2 guys to keep an eye on in 9th and 10th as well. And here are your overall standings after 5 events. Matt Fraser still has a stranglehold on the top spot with 460 points. You'd have to go back 54 points before you find Brent Fikowski, BKG in 3rd, Janikowski, and a slew of international competitors in 5th and 6th as well. Now, guys, we're going to move over to the women's event that just wrapped up, and we saw some impressive performances overall. What were some of the biggest lifts to you that really stood out?
Well, watching Sarah move 200 pounds seamlessly. I loved watching Pacelli grab the bar. She almost had so much power, she threw it behind her. Sarah moved 200 like it was butter. Nothing. And she loved every second of it, and I love that I can actually feel the excitement through watching her on the TV. I know that feeling very, very well.
Nothing feels as good as when you thread a sweat like that.
I mean, she was on the Olympic team, the 2016 Summer Olympics for the Australia weightlifting team, and that is clearly showing the work she's put in there, and it's just showing through here. I wouldn't think of her as one of the bigger athletes here, and she moves weight very efficiently.
Could be the first athlete to represent her country in the Olympics and then come right back and possibly win the CrossFit Games.
And of course, Alessandra Pacelli, heaviest lift of the day, moving 207. This woman is so powerful that it almost looks a little bit out of control.
Yeah, but
she threw the weight up.
Yeah, but you know what, Pacelli, despite some variations in technique, she's just a powerful athlete.
Such a powerful athlete.
Put that on display. We don't have the overall updated results for you guys yet. That event just finished. For an up-to-date leaderboard, please head over to games.crossfit.com if you're not already watching from there. We're going to give you guys a preview of what's coming up for the individuals. That's event number 6 for men and women. They're going to head back to the Coliseum. This is called the Triple G Tripper. Chipper, 4-time, 100 pull-ups, 100 GHD sit-ups, 61 legged squats, a 40-calorie row, then 20 dumbbell push presses. And remember, that push press is with a 100-pound dumbbell for the men, 70-pound dumbbell for the women. They're only using one arm with a time cap of 14 minutes. And guys, we'll start with the women and you, Brooke. Who are some athletes that you think could do well and maybe need to do well as well?
Well, I'm going to start with saying, some of the women that you're seeing at the top and already automatically come to mind, they're going to do well. I think that. But who I'm looking for is Emily Bridgers and Cara Webb, predominantly. They are both powerful athletes, really proficient in their gymnastics. They're going to do well in this workout. And going into the final, the last event, Cara was 60 points out of 3rd place, and Emily was 104 points out of 3rd place. This is something that they can do well at, and that fire to get them just closer to the podium, it will burn, and they will do well.
And these Friday night events are really some of the, Friday and Saturday both are very marquee events in the Coliseum with that atmosphere. Who are some men you think can take advantage of that atmosphere and make a push in this event?
Yeah, I think right now I'm going to be looking at Frazier, obviously. That's an easy choice. And then Yanni Koski as well. Both of these guys finished a chipper in the 2015 regionals that involved a huge chunk of GHD sit-ups, 100 GHD sit-ups. The GHD sit-ups are going to be the crux of this workout. I think whoever kind of comes off there in good shape and in the lead is going to do really well. I also like Olsen and Goodmanson because of their clutch gymnastic skills. I think they're going to do well here. That 100-pound dumbbell, I'm not really concerned about for the guys. I think they're going to be able to move it pretty well. Let's see what happens out on the floor.
You just got to get there.
Yeah, you got to get there. Yeah.
I got to say, this workout looks like one of the most painful ones of the weekend so far, with such big sets and big numbers of those reps.
Painful, and you need to go into it knowing where you're going to do well at and set yourself up. Be smart. The athletes need to be smart.
Yeah, plenty of opportunity for people to crash and burn in this one. That's what's up next for the individuals. Up next for us, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have a special guest from one of our sponsors.
Let me play my music.
CrossFit Games are here, and it's time to showcase the fittest athletes on Earth. But why should they have all the fun? Look, we get it. Coordinating logistics and schedule of 4 different people was tough. That's why 4 is out and 2 is in for 2017. Your 2-person team could be all men or all women, or you could field a mixed gender team. We've also changed the schedule for 2017. Every single team series workout will happen in 2 consecutive weeks. You can expect 3 to 4 workouts a week, each with a scaled and RX version. So affiliate owners could use these workouts as their regular programming from September 20th to October 2nd. Look, everyone knows from the World Wide Open that the benefits of competition are innumerable. You build community, you build confidence, and you encourage yourself and your clients to go a little further than you might have otherwise. So grab your BFF, your friend, your training partner, your family member, whatever. It's never been easier to play along.
We were gonna clear a compound. Next thing I know, I stepped on IED. My anger brought me into the box. It was therapeutic for me. I saw the community coming together, cheering you on, the camaraderie. It felt like, you know, being back with the unit. I needed to give back. So I figured, what if I just show people what I do? You know, try to motivate them in my own way. I had a goal to run the Boston Marathon. Running with the flag, it was in honor of my brothers that I served with in Afghanistan. I wanted to show them, hey, we're still fighting. Through tragedy comes great strength.
Every year, the crowd sort of picks its favorite. I think this man is in the running.
And welcome back to our day at the Games desk here at the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games at the Alliant Energy Center. And we are joined now by a special guest, Brandon Hearn, Senior Director of Compact's official sponsor of the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So for some of us at home that may not be familiar with your product, what is Compacts and what exactly does it do?
That's a long-winded answer, but long story short, we're a 31-year-old STEM company, world-class leader in muscle STEM.
Oh, cool.
And then we're owned by a large medical company called DJO.
And so in terms of product usage as a muscle STEM company, how is your product being implemented here at the Games?
So we're the official muscle STEM partner of CrossFit Games, and then we're working with the top athletes, Matt Frazier, Lauren Fisher, Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Brooke Wells. And then we're here on site activating with the crowd and the staff and working with the Rosti and things like that.
And so you guys have been around for a while. So what, from a sponsor perspective, what has the transition from Carson to Madison been like for you guys?
It's actually been a fun journey. So, everyone knows California's predictable. You're going to get sunny weather, 70 degrees, 90 degrees, things of that nature. Here it's been fun. The community's been fantastic. The people of Madison, Wisconsin have been, wonderful, welcome, open arms. So I like it. It's been, it's been a journey, but we're happy to be here.
And you mentioned that you're working with some of the Games athletes here. What's it like getting to work with some of the biggest named athletes of the sport?
It's great because you get good feedback. They're straight. They're not going to shoot you wrong. They're going to tell you if they like something or they don't. And for the fact that most of the athletes come to us saying, hey, we want to work with you, that's really kind of an honor for us that we get to work with great people and represent something that helps and, and aids in what they do.
And so we know you guys have some product out there that the athletes on the floor are using. You guys have been around a long time, so I know you guys probably got some things in the work. Anything new that we should be expecting?
Yeah, so look forward to something next year, more along the wearables line that's been in development. So it should be something new, something innovative. So it's been a lot of work, but you'll see it soon.
And so for people that want to get involved with Compacts or test out your product or keep up to date, where can we find you guys online?
You can go to compactsusa.com or you can visit us online through all the social handles, CompactsUSA.
Cool. Thank you so much, Brandon. I really appreciate you joining us. Compacts USA is one of the official sponsors of the CrossFit Games. They're here in Vendor Village. You can check them out. They're one of the biggest tents out there. You can't miss it. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to get you guys caught up with the rest of the schedule for the rest of today.
John. John, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, I'm Katie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Make yourself at home. Just grab a seat. All right, good morning. Welcome to your level 1.
Next, we're going to travel back and down.
Push your knee out and stand better.
Boom, shakalaka. Think about pushing that chest forward. That's what we were looking for.
Knees out. Knees out this way. Yes.
Hey guys, Ro here to remind you that just because the CrossFit Games season's winding down, it does not mean that we're going to hang up our fitness until next year. This offseason will play host to all the competitions that you've come to expect as a fan and an athlete. Some big changes will kick things off with a team series in late September. All you need is one other person and $20 per person, and you can play along from your home gym. October will host the CrossFit Liftoff powered by Rogue. 2 max lifts and a Metcon all contain chances to win gear, cash, and of course pride. Finally in November, the War of the CrossFit Worlds pits the fittest athletes from the US, Canada, Australia, and Europe against one another in the Reebok CrossFit Games Invitational. Stay tuned to games.crossfit.com for all the information you need on how to watch and play along yourself.
In at the athlete warm-up area here at the Alliant Energy Center. That's taking place in the Expo Hall. Teams getting ready for their next event. Welcome back, everyone. While we were away, we got an update on the official results for the women's 1-rep max snatch, and I cannot make this up. There was an issue with Alessandra Pacelli's lift, the one that we thought gave her the win at 207 pounds. As it turns out, Pacelli forgot to add a 10-pound plate on the side that was farthest away from your screen here, and she managed to only lift 197. And guys, this is an oddly balanced bar here.
I mean, while it doesn't get you games points, you've got brownie points in my book. That's almost harder than anything else I've ever seen.
Yeah, amazing that she was still able to hold on. So she'll take her 202 lift from the previous round. Cara Webb is now your overall winner in the event with 203 pounds. Pacelli is in a tie for second with Tia-Claire Toomey as well. Sigmundsdottir and Cassidy Lance McWhirter also hit the 200-pound threshold in the event. Now here are your overall standings updated after 5 events for the women. And Tia-Claire Toomey still in the lead, 412 points. Tennille Reed solidly in second. Sarah Sigmundsdottir in third. Jamie Green holding on into 4th position. Annie and Katrin, both some strong performances, 5th and 6th respectively. Cara Webb moves up into 7th, heading into the evening's events. Now, taking a step away from this competition and looking towards another competition that is currently underway. The team series registration opened this week. It's a pairs competition, male, female, or mixed. That's a new switch this year. Anyone 14 years or older can compete. You can go to register at games.crossfit.com. The competition will run 2 consecutive weeks from September 20th to October 2nd. And earlier today and throughout the day, we're keeping you guys up to date with what's going on in the social media world. We issued you guys a handstand challenge, and as always, Brooke Entz is keeping us up to date with what's going on from you guys.
We asked, and hundreds of you have already answered, so thank you very much. The rest of you, where are your photos? Where are your handstands? Remember, hashtag CrossFit. For the handstand competition, it's hashtag Madison Handstand, also hashtag CrossFit Games. Both of those hashtags need to be on there. We have some already teaching little man the ways during his first viewing of the games, doing a handstand with a little baby sitting there. This one we've got watching the CrossFit Games with my boy. Little puppy's probably thinking, get out of the way, Dad. I'm trying to watch Ben Smith crush this snatch. Also, we have all the way from Iceland, my first handstand, and probably a broken toe to go with it. So we've got handstands coming in from all over the world. Here we have from Italy in the Duomo. Beautiful. So get creative, show us where you're at, do a handstand, do them with a friend, and send it in using those hashtags, please.
That last one almost looked like his feet were part of the pillar there in Italy. But for those of you watching from home and still sending in your handstand photos, here's how you guys can keep up to date with the competition throughout the weekend. We have television broadcast for you guys through CBS and CBS Sports Network. We have a 2-hour recap every night that will go on CBS Sports Network. Tomorrow, Saturday, we'll have a live 1-hour window on CBS, their main broadcast channel. And then every heat of individuals, team, masters, and team competition will be live on games.crossfit.com or on Facebook Live through the CrossFit Games Facebook page. You can basically get everything you want to watch on those 2 live streams. If you haven't already, be sure to download the CrossFit Games app. Trust me, it will definitely make your viewing experience better whether you're at home or here. You can basically set your schedule based on athlete, based on event, based on a certain division. It's entirely up to you. Search 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games wherever you get your apps. That's going to do it for us for here. At the Day at the Games desk, we're going to send you guys out to the Coliseum for the team competition in event number 7.
For the lead.
CrossFit Games are here and it's time to showcase the fittest athletes on earth. But why should they have all the fun? Look, we get it. Coordinating logistics and schedule with 4 different people was tough. That's why 4 is out and 2 is in for 2017. Your 2-person team could be all men or all women, or you could field a mixed